Yeah, Barkley has been one of the most effective backs in the league since he entered the NFL in 2018. Just 4 players have averaged more scrimmage yards per game, and he's brought it against the Eagles. How about this? 7 touchdowns against Philly in his career, tied with Zeke Elliott for most in the NFL since 2018. Amina, I didn't write this segment. I had nothing to do with this, but I feel really good because the D block is my favorite block so far. After such an awful finish to the season here, Mina, when you look at Saquon, how does he change things in this offense now that they have a new OC too in Kellen Moore?
Yeah, I think he offers a couple of solutions to problems that they had last year and that could potentially arise this year. So let's just start on the ground. This offensive line is losing. How we talked about Saquon being Hall of Fame caliber. They had a future Hall of Famer, at center. He is no longer there. It seems more likely than not that the offensive line will take maybe a small step back, but a step back nevertheless. So they will be leaning more on their back to create, and Saquon can do just that. I mean, I don't care how many steps back the Eagles' offensive line takes. For him, going from what he dealt with the Giants' run blocking to Philly, well, that's about as big as an upgrade as you can get. And then the other thing, and this is more of a problem we saw last year, one thing that happened last season, that was one of the reasons behind the Eagles' struggles on offense, was they faced more split safety coverages. They didn't get those one-on-ones on the outside. Answers to that. Dallas Goedert was injured, but he would be one potential answer for that. Another, hypothetically, would be a pass-catching back. For some reason, DeAndre Swift never really emerged in the previous iteration of the offense. I guarantee you, Saquon will be used in the pass.
Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. Because there's been a lot of debate around how good Saquon Barkley is. And what will he be able to do with the Eagles. Now, look at this. Because now there's people debating whether or not he's as good as Christian McCaffrey, or people said he's not even on the same level as Christian McCaffrey. I'm not here to say who's better, who's worse, because I really don't care. But to act like Saquon Barkley isn't an elite, I don't even want to just say running back, I just want to say football player, because calling Christian McCaffrey just a running back is silly, is insane to me. Look what Saquon has done with the New York Giants, a team that can't do anything correctly, they're trying to make Daniel Jones a thing. They have no other weapons, no true offensive identity except for, let's see what Saquon can do, and look what he's been able to do. You really think Saquon Barkley is not going to have success when you have a quarterback like a Jalen Hurts, who can not only throw but also run, who now also has A.J. Brown to deal with, Dallas Goedert to deal with, Devontae Smith to deal with. Like, this idea that Saquon isn't going to excel with the Eagles is insanity to me. Insanity. I get if you want to talk about injuries. I do. But Christian McCaffrey was always banged up and getting injured, and then he went to the 49ers and things completely turned around. Pretty interesting. So I get it. But there is no reason to believe, zero, that Saquon Barkley, if he stays healthy, that he won't significantly improve. You don't think that playing for the Eagles isn't worth an extra 10, 15, 20 plus yards from scrimmage yards per game? I know for a fact they are. I mean, like, are we serious here right now? You don't think that he's going to be featured with Jalen Hurts? And who are they going to cover? One of the problems with the Eagles last season offensively was not just because of what Mina was talking about, because I mean, I guess so, but we can always point out things like that and say, well, this is why, yada yada yada. You know, what it really came down to was a few things. One, health. Two, the OC was not a good OC, and he was a terrible play caller. So everything just kept getting predictable and predictable and predictable. And it was very easy for the defenses to prepare against the Eagles. That's a big part of it as well. And now, because people said, well, the run game wasn't the problem for the Eagles. It's not so much that they needed to upgrade on specifically run game, but it is the versatility. Having a versatile back and someone who is as transcendent as a Saquon Barkley matters significantly. Look what he was able to do with the New York Giants. He is now going to be in a competent system with highly successful offensive players that have gone to a Super Bowl, with also a great OC in Kellen Moore. So, because then other people were saying, oh, well, Kellen Moore's not that good of an OC, and he didn't run the ball enough, and that was the problem. That's why he left Dallas, because he didn't actually run the ball enough. And then it's like, well, when they got rid of him, they actually ran the ball even less than when they had Kellen Moore. So, and so again, what makes Saquon Barkley a great player is more than just handing the ball off and watching him run, just like Christian McCaffrey. There are a lot of similarities. And again, I'm not going to get in the business of trying to say who's a better running back, Saquon or Christian McCaffrey. It doesn't matter to me, quite honestly, because they both are elite in their own right and can do amazing things once on the field, and especially once they have the ball. Now, with Saquon Barkley as well, this whole idea that losing Kelce is going to be this devastating loss. I agree it's not the best thing in the world, right? Jason Kelce is a player that you wish you could have forever. But we need to stop this idea that the Eagles' offensive line now is just going to be garbage. That it's just going to be like, oh, they're just going to be lost, chicken with their head cut off. That's not the reality, okay? Jason Kelce's still in the building. He didn't just leave. He didn't say, I hate the Eagles, I'm done with them, and just got onto a rocket and flew to Mars, okay? He is very much an Eagles for life, okay? He's been training his replacement for years now. Like, he is very much wants to see the organization of Philadelphia succeed as a whole, okay? He is an old school player where he'd rather retire as an Eagle and then play 1 or 2 years anywhere else. He is Philly from cradle to the grave. So is his wife. His wife even said, if you ever played for another team, I would never be able to root for anyone else. Like, I'm not going to root for your team if you went to another team. Like, they are old school in that regard. And I get it. If there is a step back from the offensive line, it's going to be so minuscule that it's not even going to show up. It's just not. It's going to get maybe potentially get some time to used to. But at the same time, the Eagles have always been smart in replacing iconic and true impact players. They've always done it. They've always done it. From their running backs to their quarterbacks to their offensive linemen, like for defense, they always find that next guy. And they do a great job at doing it. They've done it for the last 20 plus years. That's the reality. Okay? I mean, it really is. You have these other teams that have drafted, that have had like 50 different starting quarterbacks in like 10 years, something outrageous, because they just can't do it. That's not the Eagles. The Eagles know how to replace their own GOATs. They've done it with all of the positions that needed to be done. Every single time the Eagles somehow managed to have a great running back, a great quarterback, a great wide receiver. They always find a way to make a player be an impact player and to replace a player who's either retiring or leaving. They always find a way. That's why they are one of the most successful teams in the last 20 plus years. In the last 25 years, they have like the second or third most playoff wins. They know how to replace players. That is something that they do very, very well. A lot of teams don't. The Cowboys are pretty great at it. They are. They always find another player to replace. Dak Prescott was a great find. CeeDee Lamb, like all of these other guys were great finds. Micah, some of them are easier than others, right? You just know that guy's going to be a dude. And other of them kind of come more from the bottom of the barrel that they make. But they always do well. And the Eagles are very similar in that regard. So I understand why some of these fans from other teams, where they have a great player, a great quarterback, a great running back, or whoever, and that player retires or leaves, and then now they're just done, and now they can't find another one for the next 5 years. That's what happens when you're the Carolina Panthers. That's what happens when you're the Cleveland Browns. The Houston Texans of the old. Doesn't seem like that's the new, but the Houston Texans of the old. That's not the Eagles. That's not the Cowboys. That's not the 49ers. That's not these teams that know what they're doing, that have hyper competent GMs, although I'm not saying that the Cowboys necessarily have a hyper-confident GM, but you get what I'm saying. They're not the Cowboys. They're not the Giants. They're not the Commanders. So they really need to stop at this emphasis of Jason Kelce's gone. This is devastating. The Eagles are done. Watch me, because that's what I'm hearing. Now, I'm hearing that nationally on TV as well as in the comments. And it's just like, guys, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They paid the replacement center big money because they know he's important and they know what he can do. The Eagles never act desperately, ever, 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 ever. There's times that I wish they acted desperately and they don't. So the Eagles are making moves exactly how they have to, making the move of Saquon, which some people claim is desperate. And it's like, was it desperate for the 49ers to go out Christian McCaffrey? Because I don't think so. I'm pretty sure the 49ers getting Christian McCaffrey has been an absolute game changer. And it will absolutely be a game changer to have Saquon Barkley with the Eagles. Just the way it goes. Just the way it goes. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys think? Do you think Saquon Barkley will have a big impact on the Eagles offense and the Eagles season as a whole? Or do you think he's really not that good, he's overrated, he's not even on the remote level of some of these other backs like Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.